those who read it will say, well, this is not human knowledge. This is, this is knowledge on a level if one has not studied this kind of knowledge before, one will be surprised. It's really it's deep, it's profound, and it's very practical and down to earth. And also, I mean, there are thousands and even millions of people who in the past have followed and studied this, and they also say, no, this is not just ordinary knowledge. So that's one thing, knowledge and authority is given in the scriptures, which is actually coming down. It's revealed knowledge ultimately from God, Krishna, and coming down through chains of realized persons through thousands and thousands of years. So that's the authority, but then also one cannot understand even books like Bhagavad Gita and the other big scriptures just by one's own studies. That has been constantly pointed out by, our access to Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic scriptures was through Srila Prabhupada, who translated the Vedic scriptures into English, and from there they've been translated into many other languages. And he was constantly emphasizing, well, you cannot just read the books on your own, you have to have some living personality giving the knowledge to you. You have to, it's like there are books on medicine. One can go to the library and there are books on medicine, on anatomy and so on. But you cannot just go and read them and then become a qualified medical doctor. It's a part of becoming a doctor is to read books on medicine. But at the same time, you have to be trained by a living medical doctor already. Be an apprentice of a doctor and learn from him what all means in the books. Goes the same here. Actually, this is a higher science. This is a spiritual science, how we reawaken our original spiritual nature and free ourselves from this world of matter. It is a higher science. It's a science of the soul. Other sciences, including medical science, is just sciences of the body. Basically, it's like car mechanics. The body is like a car, advanced car, and a doctor is like an advanced car mechanic. Very advanced, very, it's a very deep, very complex science. Medicine still is a material science. It's just about how to heal the body. This is a higher form of science. So even for a materialistic science like medicine, well, one cannot learn it by one's own. That applies even more on when it comes to a spiritual science, like the science of the Bhagavad Gita. One has to learn from living persons. So that's the authority that's being referred to. Authority of persons who are realized in the science of Bhagavad Gita, science of self-realization, in association with others who are practicing the same, and completely guided according to what is in the scriptures. We use the word Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Guru means the spiritual master. Sadhu means the general assembly of devotees, people practicing the science, and Shastra, the scriptures. And they're combined. Of course, everything has to be based on what is in Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures. Gurus cannot go against that. That's another. If you want to see if you have a genuine guru, a genuine spiritual master, then it has to be measured against the Shastra, against the scriptures. If he contradicts what is in the scriptures and contradicts his own previous gurus and spiritual masters, he can be rejected. He's not a genuine guru, actually. A guru is simply someone who is repeating, but in a realized way. It's not theoretical. He has realization, practical understanding, realization, wisdom about what all this means. But it's not. He doesn't teach outside what is in the scriptures, but he makes it come alive. That's actually an actual guru. And so Krishna here says one has to practice, live one's life according to the authorities of scripture and guru and sadhu, and in this way one can achieve perfection in life. If one doesn't do it, well, perfection of life is not there. Happiness will not be there. Supreme destination will not be there. It's very, in one sense, very clear, very simple. It's like an either or, and it's when it comes down to acting on it practically, it's a very extensive knowledge, because living a life is a complex thing. I mean, in many cases, for some it can be quite simple, but then for others it can also be quite complex. So it takes some training to understand all this knowledge here. But if one learns how to practice it, one's life will become, Prabhupada said, sublime. You know, we have to ultimately ask ourselves, what do we want to achieve in this lifetime? Something ordinary or something, you know, exalted or sublime? It's possible to achieve a sublime destination. It doesn't mean that one becomes famous or rich or like that. One can, I mean, you know, and that's what the world notices is not really real. I mean, because that is such a superficial thing anyway. But one can actually achieve a very sublime goal in life. Love of Godhead, going back to the spiritual world, and also experiencing actually spiritual existence already in this very lifetime, in this moment, in this circumstance. One doesn't have to change his life. Bhagavad Gita is not a book about changing your external circumstance. It's about the consciousness and your motives you're working with. So it's possible to achieve if one wants it, but one has to, you know, it's a decision. One has to make the decision. This is what I want to use my life for. Or one can get an ordinary life also, where, I mean, you know, basically, you know, working, getting up, working, raising a family, becoming old and die. Now we're not saying you should not raise families, you should not work. Nobody's saying that. That's part of existence. But if that's all there is to life, then I mean, that's actually quite, according to Bhagavad Gita, it's quite mediocre, and will not really satisfy one. So anyway, some questions or comments. We have 5 minutes for questions or comments.
This authority, right? How is it possible to follow authority unless you're, like Prabhupada says that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that you should read Bhagavatam 24 hours a day, right? How is it possible to follow authority if you're not reading Bhagavad Gita?
24 hours a day? Well, it's probably not possible. Then again, I mean, you have to understand what does Prabhupada mean when it says 24 hours a day. Take some common sense also.
Yeah.
So, but it is possible to follow authority. Sometimes we think, well, I have to have a perfect authority, someone on the level of Srila Prabhupada, and nobody's on that level, so therefore I cannot trust any authority. But the point is, then I mean, if you can only follow an authority that is completely perfect, you'll have to wait for a long time, many lifetimes actually. And that's not this. The thing is, we have to understand that Krishna manifests through our following authority. Even sometimes our authority is not perfect. Like your father probably was not always perfect. I don't know about your father. Huh?
No, it's okay.
Okay. But that you as a son was obeying and following him. So, you know, and so on. Actually, that was you didn't have a problem. You were doing the right thing. Krishna was manifesting himself and protecting you and guiding you there. Your father may have had some problems if he was not. I mean, of course, father's not always perfect. So if you find, you know, if you're living your life, and that's the idea, one takes shelter of someone who is ahead of one. Ultimately a spiritual master, a guru, but also, you know, one takes shelter of elders, youngest takes shelter of elders, wives take shelter of husbands, even controversial, but that's one. Children takes guidance of parents, and you know, the uneducated takes shelter of the more educated, and so on. And by this, that we take shelter of authority, actually we are being protected. Krishna is protecting us through that system. The authority, if he or she is not acting complete up to the standard, will have problems. We will not have problems. Is that okay? Was that the answer?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Following authority, that takes a little humility. That's
Yeah.
a hard one in Kali Yuga.
It's always a hard thing to realize that I'm not perfect, I don't know everything, I'm not all-knowing, and whatever comes from me is not directly divinely inspired. Yeah. Humility is the beginning of knowledge, and so if one wants to become wise and knowledgeable, humility is the first thing. It's maybe a hard thing, but one cannot, if one already thinks I know everything, you cannot learn anything. Therefore, it's the beginning of, in Bhagavad Gita it said, beginning of knowledge is humility. There are, 24 items of knowledge. The first one is to understand, I don't know everything. Actually, I don't know anything. And then one can learn. So, yeah, it's a hard thing. Then, one can be intelligent and be humble. Or we can be stupid and puffed up and proud. And then we can pray or hope. Then the reality or nature will teach us to be humble. That's also possible. We'll be beaten down by life, happening to us. At one point, when we have failed and we're frustrated, maybe we come to our senses and think, maybe I wasn't so perfect as I thought. But that's a tiresome way of becoming humble. Intelligent ways to be humble is to be simply to understand, I don't know. Actually, I know very little, and therefore I should learn from those who know more, and I should follow the process, instead of just making my own way, so to speak. I should follow a recognized path to knowledge and to perfection. That's when one goes to school, that's what one does. There's a recognized path, how to become a doctor, how to become an engineer, how to become a lawyer, or whatever. You don't make your own way, you follow, you understand. I do not know what it means to be a doctor. I'm actually stupid. So therefore I follow the recognized path and follow those who already, are, accomplished doctors. In this way, I will also become accomplished. It's actually a simple principle. But sometimes something that's in spiritual life is completely different. No, that principle applies even more to spiritual life. Jai. Shri Gauri Nitai Ki. Thank you for your tolerance and patience. Now we will have Kirtan. Who is leading the Kirtan? Jai. So, please, let's get up and sing and dance for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. For Shri Gauri Nitai. Srila Baba Ki. Gita Ki.